Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Vina Azatina, and I'm from Linguistic and Literature A class. So today I'm gonna explain to you about my teaching scenario. So in my teaching scenario, there are several activities. So let's start with the first activity. The first activity is I want to ask my student to read a text with the title, The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. I will provide the text, then my students have to read it around 5 minutes. Here is the text about the town mouse and the country mouse. After read the text, students are asked to do several things. So after my students read the text, there are several activities that the students have to do. The first one is analyze what kind of the text above, and then ask students to tell what they feel when they read the text. And then the third is ask students to write the moral values from the text. And then the last one is ask students to discuss with their chairmate about the fiction features in that text. So to make sure that my teaching scenario is run well, so I have to apply some approaches in my teaching scenario. So the next is I will explain to you about the approaches that is applied in my teaching scenario. Let's start with the first one. It is information-based approach. In information-based approach, I use analyze what kind of the text and ask students to discuss with their chairmate about the features in that text. So here in information-based approach, I want to gain or elicit some information from my students about that text. So with information-based approach, I know that my students really understand about the text and read the text well. Then the second approach is personal response approach. In personal response approach, the activity is ask students to tell what they feel when they read the text. In this approach, I want my students to express their feeling, whether they happy or bad or maybe entertained when they read the story or the text. Then the last approach is moral philosophical approach. In moral philosophical approach, I want to ask my students to write the moral values from the text. So to make sure my students get the moral values from the text, I want them to write down, and then it can be help them to learn. It can help them to learn the moral values from the text. I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that if there's any mistakes. Thank you and bye bye.